Okay, everybody. Today we're going to be fighting Anjanath along with another special enemy that, if you've been paying attention to the story whatsoever, you should already have a good guess as to what it will be. My audio track is, in fact, recording this time, thank Christ, so I don't have to redo this again unless some freak accident happens again. So, yeah, we're going to be going after Anjanath first, and we're going to be going solo. Pretty much. By pretty much, I mean, I think I found Conceived Sorrow's Palico, so technically it wasn't just me and my Palico, I think it was me and two Palicos. Still, regardless, it doesn't really change much, except it probably actually makes it worse unless his Palico did a crap load of damage, which in low rank, probably, actually I don't know if he's in high rank at this point or not. My point is, since that thing moves around so much, with the more people you have, it might actually be considered a disadvantage. Maybe. Somebody might consider it that way. Anyway, Anjanath, he's where he normally is, so I'm going to skip forward to the northeast, or rather this is like the north central, I guess, part of the map. Anyway, I'll be quiet. And that's how the fight starts. A very pissed off T-Rex. Never mind, I'm sorry. A pissed off fire-breathing T-Rex. So yeah. You know, I never actually tried. I wonder if you can actually loot that Jagras. You probably cannot, but it is something I do wonder. Considering he's just laying there, you know, still looking mighty skinnable. Okay, so Anjanath, you're probably here because you're a greatsword user going, oh god, help me please. This thing is too fast, it spins around, it runs around all the time, I get hit like its back feet when it charges. How do I actually fight this thing and land a few true charges? Well, one, you gotta try and, you know, recognize what his tail swipe looks like. If I had, I would have tackled there and boom, true strike. Anyway, here's some general rules. As a greatsword user, actually it's kind of good regardless of the weapon, because one, very dangerous thing in front of him. Don't sit in front of him. I guess I could make an exception to recommend that if you're like a hunter, or if you're like a hammer hunter or like a hunting horn, but I played both of them on Anjanath, and it is hard hitting him in the head without getting barbecued straight up. Seriously. Your best bet is to just try and memorize his moveset, and then just hit where his head will be, not where it is now. But that's good advice anytime, so I'm not really sure what the hell that accomplished by giving you that advice. Anyway. As a greatsword user, your number one tool is, well, mounting things. Not only is it fun, it knocks them down, and, well, you really need that. Of course, another thing to keep in mind, I don't think I've ever said this one yet. If you're a greatsword user, when you knock something down from a mount, and you start beating on it, 9 times out of 10, it seems like, by the way, I really should not have used that potion, I should have used the Vigor Wasp there, but what I should do... Oh shit, I forgot what I was going to say. I always go off on tangents, forget what I was going to say. Oh, it was a good one too. Oh right, 9 out of 10 times when you get something like up after it, you knock it down, it will roar. So what you can do is you can kind of predict tackle if you don't have earplugs yet, which, by the way, I love earplugs. If you don't have earplugs yet, tackling, usually right when they get up, or rather... after you fight something a long enough time, you'll notice it's like winding up to roar. But until you get to that point, you kind of just got to predict tackle. And that will really help you land more true charges. That is one thing. Also, when you see it doing that like running thing, do not get by its back feet. I don't know why. In my opinion, it's kind of bunk. But you will get caught alongside him, or basically his feet, while kicking backwards, will kick you forwards. It doesn't make much sense, regardless. So just try and stay away from him when he's doing that little charge attack. Just trust me on it. Yeah, you thought that was going to be badass, didn't you? Almost did, actually. But I'm not quite good enough at execution. By the way, this is probably one of the worst places you could ever fight Anjanath here, because we're kind of just like a very small little arena. Generally not where you want to fight him. So, essentially, don't stand in front of him, otherwise crap like that's going to happen. And that's basically the fight. Just don't stand in front of him. Because each one of those little fire discharges, oh yeah, they burn. They burn like they burn like tinder. You don't want to be in there. While it's mighty tempting, and it is mighty tempting, to just smash him in the face and ruin that fire sack or whatever he uses to conjure that fire, it's extraordinarily perilous, shall we say. Basically, whenever you see the wings come up, don't get near him. It'll take a little longer because you're not hitting him constantly, but pro tip for everybody out there, you don't have to be in full DPS mode all the freaking time. It's very fun, but it can also get very, very annoying when, well, reality kicks in and they're like, what the hell are you doing near me? I'm just gonna, tackle you or tail swipe you or something. I'm just gonna tell you that was luck. I really should not have tried that true charge, but I got lucky that he veered his head to the other side. It wasn't intentional. I wish I could say it was. That would have been pretty sweet, but I didn't. Also, I've passed like 120 hours played now. I'm just gonna tell you that second charge, like the second hit in the combo, it's not as good as I once thought it was. By the way, don't forget you have things like ghillie mantles. That's kind of what they're useful for right here, so you can get away. Take a minute to breathe, collect yourself, so you don't just, well, you see what I'm going at here. Just try not to rush. And, yeah, essentially this fight boils down to don't stand in front of him and don't get caught up in his tackles. That's like the only two things that are really dangerous of his. He does have a tail swipe, but it's very pronounced, kind of like Diablos, and, trying to think what other has that big, obvious tail swipe, but Barok obviously does. But yeah, the second hit, it does a decent amount of damage, it has a decent amount of knockback, but about the only time I use it nowadays is if I'm just really, really desperate to put out any kind of damage whatsoever. Because most of the time it's actually better damage-wise if you just tackle. Just get to the true charge. The only exception to that is if you have an extra second, like if you know something is down, like it's not getting up for the foreseeable, next 6 seconds, then you might do your second part of the combo, but only do it like, the one charge, not even that, usually. Just because it gets you that true charge, one charge faster. It's not that good. Like, I normally don't ever charge up my second hit now, it doesn't do that much damage. But it has its uses. It can knock things down pretty well. It's not as good as the true charge at it, but it's better than the draw charge. So it's kind of like the in-between. A lot of people go, ew. Yeah, it has its uses. Obviously, now that I know the tells of the big tail swipe, it's like, dude, why didn't you just tackle? That's probably because I fought him tens of times by now, but considering I haven't fought this guy since the beta, I think I did pretty well this time. At least compared to like Pt1 or Kuliyaku, I did absolutely horrible. If you're wondering what the idea for this true charge was, I thought that he would come back. He did. But I mistimed it. I would have got the true charge off, and it wouldn't have been that much extra damage, to be fair, because I didn't hit him in a very weak spot, but yeah. Anjanath is one of those fights where if I get into what I call the rhythm of the fight, things go much better. If I don't, it's kind of hell incarnate, as you can kind of see here. Because I'm just kind of running around like a jackass. Kind of a little bit here. This is actually a rather decent time to hit him. I think I hit him in the neck instead of the head there, which is funny, but that should have broke something. It did, in fact, but yeah. Generally, I want that true charge. As you can see, I'm starting to learn a little bit here. It's like, oh, these other things, they're not doing that much damage. Let me try and just spam true charge. Yeah. Like I said, aiming for the tail while underneath it, very hard to do with the true charge, but when you do it, you are in free and clear, and you just got a crap load of damage. I can't tell if that actually worked. Looking back on it, I thought I was gonna get creamed there by his bite. I think he's tired. I don't know why. I'm not using a hunting horn with stamina thief or anything, but I think he's just plain old tired right now. Some people go, how the hell do you position for these true charges is beyond me. I don't know. It just kind of happens. It just kind of happens. I think that's the first time I've ever heard any greatsword user just go, I don't know, dude, it just kind of happens. Well, now you have. Okay, to be fair, I think my mind, somewhere in my unconsciousness, knows when I should be swinging. But it doesn't deem worthy to let my conscious mind know. So in my mind, I'm doing this all like winging it, but really my mind actually knows what's going on. I think's the way it's going, because I don't think anybody can just kind of 100% wing it with a greatsword and do this decently. And I use decently because I'm not doing very good. Decently with it. Also, I was 100% sure he'd be up here sleeping. Apparently I did not wait long enough, or he was kind of wary about Rathalos coming back to the thing. I don't know. That was actually a good attempt. It might look like I did something really stupid there, but I did attempt to at least tackle that. That's a step up, okay? So if you see greatsword users tackling and they miss it, most of the time, I don't get mad at that. Like, if people around me want to play greatsword as well, shit, dude, I don't care. Go right for it. It's not like I'm going to get mad at you for whiffing a true charge. Goodness knows I've done more than my fair share of that. But yeah, he's... Probably because I had a bit of practice in the beta, he wasn't terrible. He was just kind of annoying. You saw when I got hit the most. Almost every time I got hit, I was either in front of him or near the front of him. I did get hit with the tail swipe. That was kind of stupid looking back on it now, but hey, I got a plate. That's got to be worth something. Actually, I think I got 2 plates out of this. Which means jack all. This is low rank, so that doesn't really mean much, but that's still pretty sweet. Excuse me. Now, the next fight that we're going to be doing is not my favorite at all. In fact, it's one of those types of fights I hate in games like this. Not because of the story-wise of the monster. I mean, the fight itself is just not fun, in my opinion. And at least there's only a couple of these throughout the game, but... Ugh. I guess you already pretty much know what it is now, but I'm not going to say it until we actually get there. And God, will there be some funny anecdotes there. So, yeah. Scale, plate, flame sack. None of these worth much of anything until you get the higher rank, and then you gotta learn how to kill him again. Just recently, I've gotten used to killing Tempered Anjanath, which is like a step above high rank. Not quite G rank, but a step above it. And I can't wait until they get the free DLC where we start getting some more monsters. And G rank, oh man, that's gonna be sweet. I've already got like 130 hours into this game. I'm telling you, man, I foresee 1,000 hours in my future in this. Okay, cutscene time. I'll be quiet.
Meda, Zeki, La Hakiarak, Ai Gutohori, Ku, Lareni, Tewi, Sodore, Beoham, Ogedi, Emi, Anjanath, Lusot, Lahuamem Teosra, Mibi, Zora Magdalaus, Gashkirete, Ide, Ak, Rei, Shimi, Turibida. スートベ、ラニュオクーダ、ゾランマグダラウス、エメホキストゥキ、トシグレ、ラガスイ、トルアル、ヒメツギ、ギレモルディニャス、シ、ヒメシベ、アロイーダ、ワラトゥフ、ガリオキン、ニュアス、ワラトゥフ、ガリオキ、ニュアス。 Raletis, Tuzaik, Am. Letishi, Wishik, Yan. Oh. Ku, Nius, Emi Hakiri. Susuri, Gaskitora, Tineshira. Shiaza Giranaina. Laveshk Aki. Rayoleta.
ねれいいなほう
Zeus Makis. Moi on. Garo. Stora Ormez. Keda. Ori.
Okay, so now that that's done, well,
出はって
you know where we're going, don't you? So yeah, we're going to be taking on Zora Magdaros. And to be fair, the second phase isn't that bad. It's just the first phase is like... do you ever play Demon Souls? You remember Dragon God? Do you ever play Dark Souls 1? You remember... Bed of Chaos? Yep. That's the kind of fight we're in for, boys and girls. We're in for a... Oh, what do you call those? I know there's a term for it. I just can't remember off the top of my head what that's called. It's, Well, you know what I'm talking about because I'm too stupid to remember what it is. Anyway, it's one of those fights. It's kind of like a scripted fight to a degree. The second part I do have a little bit of an issue with, but that's more my fault than anything else we'll get into when we get there. That'll be next video, but... I guess I just kind of spoiled where the transition for this video and the next one's going to be. It's between phase 1 and 2. Anyway. Yep, hopefully you can read while the handler's talking here. But this fight, the beginning, I mean, it's not like the first part's difficult. It's not difficult at all. It's just tedious more than anything. Well... let's just say it doesn't come naturally to me as a Monster Hunter player. Maybe because I didn't play the later ones like 4 and Freedom United and all that crap, but going from 3U to this, the entire mechanics behind this just threw me for a loop for like the first minute. Thankfully, you have me to tell you exactly what you need to do so that you don't do things like I did and just kind of wander around, again, like a jackass, because that's what I did for a while. If you're wondering why I used my lucky voucher there, to be fair, I was kind of noobish and thought, well, something, you know, record books, history books, so that's got to be worth, you know, the rewards got to be worth something there, so let's just double that up. Yeah.
Gucci. Toniga. Azumi Ezri. Yeah, Artui. Lutorane.
あやらメイ
Hui.
サルケラン
Moa. Aka. Gishkir. イホがユーミルーだ。ラシモニミク。フリ。シルネがウルズス。
It's on, boys and girls. So, how do you fight this thing? Well, easy when you know what you're doing, not so much otherwise. You cannot just walk up to a ballista, you have to get the ammo first, because no one does it for you. Unless you're in multiplayer. In which case, I remember at least people I play with, a lot of times it'd end up in a rhythm of, I would go and load the cannonballs, and then they would, you know, shoot the cannons. So it's really nice if you got co-op, but I'd imagine his health is buffed as well. Okay, Barok, but where's the fun? We're just kind of sitting here shooting ballista at a big old mountain. That's the fun. Like I said. That's just, I don't like the first phase. Now, you don't have to use a ballista if you don't want to do piddly damage. The problem with the cannonballs is, well, you're a lot slower bringing the cannonballs to the cannons, so it's kind of evens out in the long run. But yeah, you gotta load your own guns. As a new player to this kind of mechanics in a Monster Hunter game, this did not come natural, so for the first minute I was like, well, where the hell's the ammo at? So you have to run around and do all this stuff. And I was kind of like running around like chicken with his head cut off, because I didn't really understand what the hell's going on other than shoot it. Why I went back down here is a mystery to all, because even I don't know why I went all the way down here when there's a ballista about 10 feet closer. I blame it on my not wanting to change things when I really should change things, but I don't know. Honestly, I would recommend if you have the opportunity to get a cannon, not the ballista. The ballista's faster. You do get around 200 damage, but if you manage to hit the head, all in all, whereas the cannon usually hits for 150, but it's a lot slower to load. So I guess it just, I don't think it really matters. Like, I don't think this is a DPS race. If it is, it's a very lenient race, because I was very, very slow. Also, pro tip, if you're gonna pick up a cannonball, at least know where the hell you're taking it before you pick it up. Unlike me. I was eventually like, oh, you know what? Screw this. That's too slow. I'm just gonna grab all the ballista and just start shooting, man. Oh, but you'd think, okay, you're almost done, right? Ha 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 ha, no. 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 We're just in the first 20% of the fight, man. I contemplated very strongly just going, you know what? Right about here, I just cut it and then just keep going. I was like, no, this is an important mission. We gotta watch all of it, no matter how painful it might consider to be being. Also, apparently there are people here. I thought that I was alone in this. Apparently my memories... Oh yeah, welcome to NPCs not actually knowing how to fire a cannon. Because you gotta do that. He's like, fire it, man, once you do it. Also, yeah, you can load multiple cannonballs at once. So if you have a good system going, you can just, you know, have maybe 2 players just loading that thing up over and over and just have one person dedicated to shooting it. Might go a lot faster. I don't know. I've only done these kind of missions with 2 people before. I've never done it with 3 or more. Also, this is probably one of the better cannons. You should probably be doing it because the cannonball is like right there next to the cannon. So that's kind of neat. Also, I noticed if your cannon, your cannon thing is right next to the cannonballs, your Palico can start loading for you. But if it's very far away, they don't usually do that. It's really nice when they get in that groove, but it's very difficult to actually get your Palico to do that. Well, it's either the Palico or a Hunter, one of the two. I know that someone will load it for you, though. It's just very rare they actually do it. So yeah, now you've had enough of the whole bombarding thing. Now we have to go and stick it with a poke stick, basically, because you know this would totally hold a rock monster the size of a mountain. This would totally work, guys. Just one little thing, that'll hold it, bro. Never mind the fact that that's probably just nailed to the ground with like nails. And even if those held, I'm sure the wood probably wouldn't. But no, this is viable. Yeah. I'm just being an ass now, I'm sorry, but I don't think that would really hold Zora Magdaros looking at it from an objective point of view. But this is Monster Hunter Barok. We're not supposed to do the objective point of view thing. Alright, true that. Obviously, with the ballista, it kind of matters where you shoot, because you just saw me do piddly damage. Doing piddly damage, not usually what you want to do. So it's usually a lot better to focus on the cannons at this point than it is the ballista, because it's hard to hit his head right now. So, yeah. Is my Palico actually loading that? She's doing something. No. I saw her doing something there. I thought that was maybe it. Yeah, for the most part, though, you're on your own. A lot of the hunters, the NPC hunters, they might load the stuff, but like that one guy you saw, he didn't actually shoot the cannon. It don't do much good if you load the cannon, but you don't shoot it, but apparently the developers decided that'd be too easy. We cannot have the NPCs actually helping, because then you could just sit there and get it done. Which I understand. You don't want the player to just sit there going, I'll just sit here and then the game will play itself. I get that, but I think they might have overdid it with the length of this just a smidgen. Because while it's nice and epic going, I'm shooting a cannon at a 200, 300, 400 foot tall mountain. Well, when you have to do that for like 5 minutes in a row, it kind of loses that whole wow factor, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's one man's opinion. Also, you see, did I just load 2 accidentally, or did she start loading? I didn't think I did. Someone's loading it. Nope, she's loading it. Well, yeah. See, it's rare, but they will do that. You just can't really get them to do that on purpose. They just kind of do it on their own. Also, yes, there are finite numbers of things, even cannonballs. So after you get those done, you gotta move on. Otherwise, you're just sitting there. Also, a neat little thing is the enemies will destroy the ballista and the cannons you might have saw in the dialogue earlier, so you kind of just have to move along, because you can't really do anything else otherwise. So basically, it seems like this whole thing's done essentially when you're almost out of ammo for everything. Almost. Well, maybe not everything, but I don't know this, but it sure as hell seems like this is just a time thing. Like, I don't know, maybe if you don't shoot anything, maybe you do fail. I don't know, but it just seems like, well, I'm not really doing anything for the longest time here, so why is this actually... whatever. Well, that's a hell of a place to be, just staring down Zora Magdaros behind a little piddly ballista. Not weak enough to capture. Well, no wonder. It's an elder dragon. That doesn't usually work. Just saying. But do not be afraid to go and look at the places you've been previously. Maybe your ballista hadn't been destroyed yet. So, also, I think they also might have said, you're supposed to kill those flying things. I'm just like, I got more important things to do, man. I'm just going to shoot the big mountain, not the small things. The small things are really annoying if you're carrying cannonballs, but at this point... Like I said, it feels scripted. I don't know if that actually matters how much you shoot it, but don't do what I did and just get lost here. It's actually kind of easy not to know where to go here. So you want to go up this thing, and you'll notice a little pole there with the red tape. Yeah, that's where you want to go. They even kind of show you what you're supposed to do. I'm just like, what? So that we don't all pull our hair out, I'm just going to skip forward and just do it that way.